Comedian Jerry Seinfeld called out this weekend the, quote, extreme left for ruining comedy. Talking on New Yorker's Radio Hour on Friday, Seinfeld said that political correctness has been the downfall of TV shows and sitcoms. Let's watch.
You just expected there'll be some funny stuff we can watch on TV tonight. Well, guess what? Where is it? This is the result of the extreme left and PC crap and people worrying so much about offending other people. Mm-hmm. When you write a script and it goes into 4 or 5 different hands, committees, groups, here's our thought about this joke, well, that's the end of your comedy.
Conservatives celebrated the clip on X. Political commentator Benny Johnson called it a, quote, powerful moment. And media outlet Outkick said he's 100% correct. So, Briahna, you must be pretty happy with yourself from having killed off comedy. Don't laugh. That's illegal now. Stop.
Yeah. Look,
you won.
I'm used to the incredibly edgy, provocative comedy of Jerry Seinfeld.
What's the deal with that?
What's the matter with comedy today? Yeah, I mean, it's so funny. I was actually just hanging out with some friends and talking about how unfunny Seinfeld was just a few weeks ago. Not because of wokeness, because he has not written a new joke in 30 years. And so many people on the internet were pointing out that the irony of this is that Jerry Seinfeld's own writing partner has just ended a 24-year run of a show that is one of the most popular, beloved sitcoms of all time.
I was literally watching clips from Curb Your Enthusiasm this morning while I was getting ready. It is funny, and it's politically incorrect.
Exactly. So. It's so much more provocative than anything Seinfeld has ever done in his entire career. So it just doesn't make sense. Look, if you're not successful anymore and you're bad at your job, stop blaming others, stop blaming the left, stop blaming identity politics, take some personal responsibility, and try writing a real joke.
Right. So obviously, I think this criticism can just go too far, especially when you're not being specific about what you're talking about. Obviously, we can point to examples of some provocative or non-PC work of comedy or art getting a ridiculous write-up from Vox and like some level of screeching about it from, I don't know that it's really the left, from like hysterical liberal progressives on social media who are like, you know, whatever, who are mad about things, Chappelle-related things, whatever. There are examples of it. Does it mean there is no good comedy that is offensive being made anymore? Obviously not. There's It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is like the funniest show on television. It's on television.
It's provocative.
It is provocative. And it does make, like, it makes fun of conservatives, obviously, sometimes. It also makes fun of, like, liberals and other things.
Yes.
The gun control episode is a really great skewering of, like, all perspectives on that, where Dee and Dennis set out to prove that gun control is necessary and only prove that they're deranged maniacs and, like, responsible, law-abiding people with guns need to stop them. It's really funny. There's all that kind of stuff. So it's still out there. There's still, you know, like, cartoon, Family Guy, The Simpsons, etc. Sometimes they make fun of conservatives, sometimes they make fun of liberals. It's.
Also, you're Jerry Seinfeld. Isn't he like a billionaire at this point? Like he's.
I mean, I think he's funny. I think he's very talented.
He can greenlight. Which of his works are you talking about? I mean, I enjoyed it as a children's movie, but every time a B movie, because what has he been up to lately? This is the point I'm trying to make.
Maybe I haven't updated.
But he's not doing it like he has the ability.
He was funny on Curb Your
to
Enthusiasm.
greenlight any project, to fund any project. J-Lo just self-financed this bizarro vanity project for Netflix, all about her relationship with like Ben Affleck. If you want to put $20 million, as she did, behind something and get it to run on a TV program, certainly Jerry Seinfeld has the possibility to do it. So why are you vetching and moaning? I was change it for a different word I was going to use. It's not TV friendly. About the fact that there is just not good TV out there and just not good comedy out there. You are a billionaire, multimillionaire at very least, billionaire, I think, comedian.
Yeah.
Write it. Do it. Conscript a bunch of the funniest, most anti-woke minds that you know out there in the space.
The Daily Wire is doing this.
And work for you.
The Daily Wire is,
right, but Seinfeld isn't
doing their own.
Seinfeld, and we'll see how those projects go, but Seinfeld isn't. And he's been in this mode, this like kind of dad mode for a long time, and it's ruining, I think, a lot of great comedians. What's happening, my diagnosis, is that people who have been funny for their careers, who I've really enjoyed in the past, the Chris Rocks of the world, even the, what's his name? The redheaded fella, Louis C.K.
Carrot Top. Oh.
No, Louis C.K., a lot of them are just getting older. And
Louis
I think
C.K. is still hilarious.
Yeah, he's funnier
He
than
is
I think the rest of the batch.
hilarious.
But Chris Rock's last special was just bad. He spends so much time just talking about how I don't understand my teenage daughters, and then builds up to this punchline at the end that, from a technical perspective, he trips up the joke. He just messes up the punchline, the last joke in his own comedy special. I mean, they're confusing, I think, being out of touch and not finding fresh material that really animates the public with being kept down because they're woke. And it's kind of embarrassing and sad because I think there's still opportunities for them to pivot and be funny again and realize that what the edge is just not in their field of vision anymore. The edge isn't gone. They've just lost track of where it is in contemporary society. And so they keep stomping their feet and saying things that we're not offended by them. It's just not funny. Say what you want. Trans jokes, fine. I want Dave Chappelle to just be funny.
He is funny. I think there's, obviously it's subjective. I think there was a wave maybe from like 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, where I feel like I used to see a lot more on social media and also in commentary about comedy, again, I call out Vox or Slate or places like that, about how validating, I think, a lot of the criticisms you were hearing from people like Jerry Seinfeld at the time. I just think the Seinfeld-type argument has actually basically won, and there is less pressure now. Like, that wave has receded a little bit, and it's okay to be funny and provocative and non-PC again. Not that there was a period where it was actually literally not okay, but that level of like, oh no, comedy needs to be only targeted at whatever privilege hierarchies, whatever. I feel like that whole thing is done, and so now this is a bit of an outdated criticism.
Who were the famous comedians that were dominating comedy with whatever this alleged woke comedy scourge was?
No, I'm not saying it was the same people, but there was criticism coming from.
Yeah, everyone has always loved edginess. Everyone's always loved provocation. It's not a political issue. I'm sorry, and to the extent.
What I'm saying is, I think cancel culture is genuinely in retreat, and that the anti-woke or the anti-PC people are winning.
The only PC comedians I can think of are people like Seinfeld, which made a career off of the most banal jokes humanly possible. Hey, have you ever gotten a rotisserie chicken? When do they even make those things? That's Seinfeld's entire humor. And that's not, if you liked Seinfeld, the show and all of that, I think you probably like Larry David, not Seinfeld. Larry David's great.
People protested Netflix over Chappelle, right?
Yes.
I mean, that did happen.
Yes, but it wasn't, that was a protest over Chappelle. I thought you were saying that there was some period of time in which all of the comedy was woke and everyone else felt marginalized.
No. There was a period of time.
There were all these famous woke.
No, that's not what I was saying.
Okay.
There was a period of time where woke people were criticizing comedians and the comedy industry for not being woke.
Sure, but
that criticism has receded.
I hate to break it to you. That has always been the case in the history of comedy. People criticized Pryor. People criticized Cosby for being too edgy.
Well, religious conservatives did it, and then it was liberals doing it.
I'll tell you what,
it was noteworthy and commented on.
Nobody has ever, at the beginning of the career, his middle of his career, or the end of his career, ever criticized Jerry Seinfeld for being too edgy.
Oh. All right, well, that does it for us today on Rising, and we will be back tomorrow, so please be sure to tune in.
Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss any content. And for those of you who prefer to listen while you're on the go, we're now available anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Bye-bye.